Hola and welcome to another Bushwhacker review. Today we are going to be taking a look at Kevin Harvick's Hershey's Pelon Pelo Rico Chevy from 2005. As always, take a quick look at the box. As you can see, this has a very fancy box. I so miss boxes like this. You look at this box, and this is a box you know exactly what you're getting, and you're like, ooh, that's a cool looking car. I think I want that. Why does nobody understand this? But whatever. You got a nice render of the car right there with the mascot poking out of the driver's seat. Got some of the leaves, got Pelon Pelo Rico, Kevin Harvick, Action Collectibles. Down the side, you got another picture of the mascot. Pelon Pelo Rico, number 21, Kevin Harvick, RCR, Action Racing Collectibles, Action Collectibles, Action Racing Collectibles. Got the same stuff on the back of the box. They made a total of 2,400 of these things. I feel bad if anyone actually paid $65 for this car, because it's not worth that much. And there's your copyright and such on the bottom of the box. Here is the car itself, a very unique and eye-catching car. As you can probably guess, Harvick raced this in the Mexico City race in 2005, which was the first Mexican race. He finished second in this car to Martin Truex Jr., who won the race. I do find it funny that you had a brand new track in a brand new country with a bunch of like different Mexican drivers from different series around Mexico and like road course ringers and all that. And the top three finishers were Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, and Carl Edwards. I imagine that to piss some people off back in the day. Like, you had all the, recipe for having, like, a fun winner or something that's a really cool moment, and Martin Truex Jr. just kind of wins the race easily. But whatever. Let's do a quick 360 of the car. If you don't know what Pelon Pelo Rico is, it is a candy that Hershey makes in Mexico. So whoever came up with that idea was very clever. Instead of running the regular Reese's car for that race, they decided to run a Mexican candy that they make. This candy is apparently very popular in Mexico. I was able to get some imported from a, party supply store in California off eBay. So here's a little mini one. It's like a tamarind paste that has a little bit of some like chili powder in it to give it a little spice. It's really not bad. Not overly my kind of candy, but it's really not bad. I can see why people love it. But anyways, let's get down to sponsors. On the hood, you have Hershey's Pelon Pelo Rico. Got a picture of the mascot right there. Chevy Monte Carlo, number 21, RCR and RCR Racing. Down the side, you have Hershey's Pelon Pelo Rico. Another picture of the mascot. Got Snap-on tools down there and Safety Clean back there. Nothing on the C post. And on the B post, you have Sherwin-Williams, Cometic, Payday, Sylvania, and RCR. Kevin Harvick's name on top of the name rail. Does have the Busch Series logo and Busch Pole Award and all that. Got pretty much regular contingencies and such. On the back, you have Pelon Pelo Rico. Another picture of the mascot, number 21, and Okuma. Got nothing on the deck lid for some reason. This is before they had DIN numbers, and obviously nothing on the roof back then. Got the same stuff down the other side. Wait, why does that look different? That's odd. Look at that. This one has a, straight side Sherwin-Williams logo and then Cometic. And this side has a different Sherwin-Williams logo, no Cometic, and the rest of the logos are farther down. I just noticed that. That is really weird. I wonder what the reason for that is. I'll have to look up a picture of the real car to see which one's accurate. But anyways, let's take a look under the hood. It says Pelon Pelo Rico. There's the engine detail if you want to see that. Take a look under the deck lid. Got your typical fuel cell back there. Roof flaps, of course, do open, barely. And there's the underside of the car if you want to see that. So when they're still doing the sticker tires. Worth pointing out that this car is like a glossy white, but then the green decals are like a matte finish. That's kind of cool. I don't know if the real car is like that or not. This is just a cool car, especially if you're into, collecting candy cars like I am. Obviously, everybody knows the Hershey's and the Reese's cars, but not as many people know about some of these one-off Hershey cars they ran back in the day. Like, I'm sure some people didn't even know that Hershey made this candy. It's definitely a very cool paint scheme. They did point it out a couple different times during the race. Just because, I guess it's Kevin Harvick and it's a different look for him. Because obviously most people are looking for that bright orange Reese's car, not a white and neon green with yellow numbers car. But definitely a really cool car. That's one of the best parts of those Mexican races was that there was different, paint schemes with some of, the primary sponsors. Like, you have Adrian Fernandez, who raced, like, a Mexican-themed Lowe's car and stuff. There was a lot of cool paint schemes for these races. It's a shame it only lasted, like, what, 4 years? I believe 2008 was the last year that Kyle won. I know Kyle's race win exists. Does Truex's race win exist from this race? I can't remember. There's a lot of different, you know, paint schemes and, like, different diecasts that do exist from this race just because it was a pretty popular race. It's a shame they don't do it anymore. NASCAR keeps, like, you know, trying different markets and countries, and then they just, like, end up stopping pretty quickly. The only one we still go to right now is probably Canada for the truck race, but who knows if that's even going to stay much longer, because that didn't happen this year because of Corona. It is actually on the schedule next year. I was really surprised. As soon as that truck schedule was, like, starting to get leaked, and they're like, oh, Watkins Glen's on it, which, thank you, Watkins Glen's on it. I could finally get to see trucks in person, but as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, that must be replacing the Canada race. And then Canada was still on the schedule, so who knows? If you want this diecast, it is pretty easy to get. A lot of these old Hershey Reese's cars are pretty easy to get, minus the few, like, Elvis car that's, you know, unless you're paying $800, you're not getting that Elvis car. But most of these 21 cars are honestly pretty easy to get. You can usually get them for around 20, 30 bucks. They're all really cool paint schemes. Said Kevin Harvick and Reese's and Hershey's and all those used to have amazing paint schemes. I really wish Hershey's would come back to the sport. I mean, they're kind of maybe thinking about it because they, you know, this year they appeared on the Kroger cars as, you know, one of those, like, associate sponsors that, like, gets featured on the Kroger cars throughout the year. They were on the 47 car multiple times this year, including that pink version of the car that they might actually make a diecast of. Might have to pick up that pink Stenhouse diecast just for the fact it has Hershey's on it. If it gets made. Probably won't even meet MLQ as standard and meet MLQ, but hopefully, you know, that's them just thinking about coming back, and maybe on, like, the 37 car next year, we'll actually see a Hershey's or a Reese's car. Please. But anyways, I think that's pretty much all there is to say. This has been a review of Kevin Harvick's Hershey's Pelon Pelo Rico car. Gracias, and thanks for watching.